Are you confused by how TFSA contribution room works? What about how withdrawals impact your overall limit? Do you have TFSAs at multiple different institutions? If you don't understand how the calculation works, it's really easy to overcontribute, and then you'll face hefty fines from CRA, and never mind having to contact your accountant to get the whole mess fixed. And it's probably going to cost you a bit of money to do that. Let's walk through it now. I'm Anna Hilberry. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to go through 3 different situations from simplest to most confusing last. So pay attention, here we go. So the first situation is the most simplest. If you've never opened up a tax-free savings account, you're over the age of 18 or older, you're alive and breathing, and you have a SIN number, it's pretty straightforward. Now, in 2009 was the first year you had a TFSA available for contribution. That was the first year that they were open and that you were allowed to contribute. So from 2009 onward, if you're over the age of 18 or older, then you could contribute for each year an accumulation occurs. Now, it's important to pay attention to the years. They're not all the same. Depending on who is in power in government, there are certain policies that changed. But I'm going to bring up a chart here from taxtips.ca. It'll show you the various contribution rooms. So you can see it went from $5,000 to $10,000 in 1 year and all the way up to $6,000 in 2020 for a total of $69,500 total contribution room in 2020. In 2021, by the way, coming up pretty quick here, you're going to be able to put in $75,500 if you've never contributed. Now, you can either contribute in cash or in kind. What does in kind mean? That means contributing a stock. There are a few things you need to be aware of. Number 1, the capital gains. It's deemed to be a disposition. So if you have any kind of a capital gain on the stock, you are going to need to pay taxes on that. If you have a capital loss, on the other hand, you don't get to claim that against your taxes. So that's definitely something to be aware of. Let's go on to situation number 2. Scenario number 2 is you have more than one TFSA. Much like an RSP account, the contribution room or limit, the limit is the limit is the limit. It doesn't matter if you have 12 TFSAs or if you have just one. You can only contribute, according to my last example, a total of, in 2020, $69,500. Whether you have $500 here, $500 there, and so on, the limit is the limit. So it becomes more complicated the more accounts that you have, because of course you need to keep track of them all. So if you're bound and determined to have more than one TFSA, I would suggest having one master sheet, like such as an Excel spreadsheet, where you carefully track your contributions, because it's really important that you don't overcontribute. If you do, CRA is going to charge you 1% per month on the overcontribution, and it's just a mess to get it all sorted out at the end. Let's go on to scenario number 3. Okay, scenario number 3, this is the one that gets people. Let's assume you want to put money in, you take it out, and then you put it back in again. How the heck do you know how much contribution room you have? Well, I created a very simple little equation that's going to help you out. So it goes like this. Total original contribution room minus deposits plus withdrawals equals total actual room. Let's go through a scenario. Let's assume that your original contribution room was $69,500. It's the year 2020, it's March. You put $69,500 into your tax-free savings account. That's your $69,500 total original room minus deposits, which is $69,500, meaning you have 0 contribution room. Makes sense, right? You invest it, the market's down, it rebounds. It's November 2020 and your account's worth $80,000. Now, whatever happens inside the account, any growth, dividends, anything like that, has no impact on your contribution room, except when you go to take it out. Because your account is worth $80,000, let's assume that you want to take it all out to make a down payment on a house. You're going to buy a house. So you withdraw the $80,000. Then the house deal falls through. And you decide, I'm going to stick my money back in. Well, there's one little catch. You have to wait until the year following to put the money back into the account. It's just the way it works. So when you take it out, You gotta wait till the next year, next calendar year, and then you can put the money back in again. But what was your contribution room again? Well, according to my equation, it was $69,500, which was the original contribution room. You put in $69,500, leaving zero contribution room left. You took out $80,000 in contributions, and that leaves you with your total actual contribution room of $80,000. Now we're in year 2021. You have total actual contribution room of $80,000 that you can put in, but you can add another $6,000 because another year has rolled over, and you can add that accumulated year to the total room available. Let's go through a different scenario using the same formula. Now we're going to look at the same scenario, but what if you lost money inside your TFSA? How does that impact you? So again, it's the year 2020. We're in January. You have $69,500 room. You put $69,500 into your TFSA. Your contribution room is, according to my little equation there, zero. Now it comes to March. You've fully invested, and we've had a pandemic. The markets are down. You get really nervous, and you do what you're not supposed to do, and you sell out your account right at the bottom. Your account's worth, let's say it was, properly invested, so it's only down a little bit, down to $60,000. So you've lost $9,500. Ouch. Now you're kind of sitting around in cash. You've been too nervous to invest. November rolls around, November 2020. You take the $60,000 out because, again, you're going to put a down payment on a house. The house deal falls through. How much contribution room do you have? According to my equation, you put $69,500 in. That was your original contribution room. You made the deposit, so you were left with zero room, and then you took out $60,000. This gives you the actual room available, which is $60,000. That's all you can put back into your account. Even though the original room was $69,500, you only were able to take out $60,000 because you had a loss. Now, it's not the loss that happened inside the portfolio. Of course, in a roundabout way, it is, but it's the amount that you take out that matters. That's all that matters. What you put in and what you take out. So in year 2020, you'd have to wait to put the money back in. It would be $60,000 plus the next year's accumulated amount, which is $6,000. So the total room you can put in 2021 would be $66,000. You can see how if you have more than one TFSA account, you're putting money in, you're taking it out, it's really easy to get confused. So my best advice is to maybe just have one TFSA account. It makes it a lot simpler, and absolutely have a spreadsheet. I'm an advisor. I have no idea how much I've put into my TFSA. I can't remember. I have a spreadsheet, and my spreadsheet keeps me on track. There's one final point that I wanted to make is that for people that have online accounts to my CRA, it's really important to note that sometimes my CRA can be out of date by up to 6 months. I know if you ever call them, and they'll tell you that you have to be very careful because sometimes the site is out of date. It doesn't get updated until certain points in the year. And if you're relying on it and you make an over contribution, guess who's at fault? Not CRA, you are. So it's really important, like I said in my last example, to have that spreadsheet and very carefully track what you put in and what you took out. I'm Anna Hilbright. I hope this has been helpful for you. Have a good day.